whether I like it or not. Fall is here. But I know there are some of you that love this season. You can't wait to make that pumpkin latte or like wear your scarf or go apple picking. Today we're gonna make just a recipe that you're gonna need to have in your repertoire, because this recipe, it has spices, it has apples, a little bit of coconut milk, and on top of that we make our own broth. The main ingredient, the star, is the carrot, a very humble ingredient but that you can find anywhere. This ingredient, it's so good, can be so creamy, it can give so much creaminess into whatever you make it. You just need to know how to create it. And today I'm gonna show you one recipe for the years to come, and I'm not kidding, because it has everything. It has that sweetness, it has also that acidity, that spices. It's kind of like a very well-rounded, let's say it like that. So without further ado, let's get into it, because I am really pumped to share this with you. I have a beautiful fall-inspired recipe for you today. Alright, first of all, we're going to start with our broth, because it's going to take around 20 to 30 minutes. However, one ingredient needs to be soaked overnight for better results, just to extract more the flavor. But if you forgot for any reason, don't worry, because it's gonna be alright. So we're gonna use some kombu, we're gonna do some dry porcini. Porcini is a kind of mushroom that we dried and is like fabulous. The flavor is out of this world. But you can also use dry shiitake to replace it, in case you don't find it, because sometimes it's not too commonly available in any store. And one more ingredient that we're gonna use for this is a little bit of celery, because I believe this celery is going to complement the carrots, the apples, and the spices that are going to be in the soup. So it is very intentional. You can omit it, and you can also fortify this broth. But since we're using a lot of ingredients in this soup, I don't think it needs more. Something that you can actually add, it's probably maybe a bay leaf, or use it with a little bit of thyme, fresh thyme. One more thing about this broth is that you can use it for other recipes, for other savory recipes that you're cooking, for stews, for cooking your beans. I just love the flavor that dried mushrooms and seaweed give to something. It's just so much umami flavor. Maybe you don't recognize the umami flavor, or you don't even know kind of like, oh, what's umami? But just think about like roasted tomatoes, that kind of flavor, so that also contains umami. So if you like that, you're gonna like this. You know, if you like mushrooms, you're gonna like this. But not only the texture, but I'm meaning the flavor, the smell. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, so let's start with the broth. The first step is, as I mentioned before, soak your kombu. Look, you can see, this is the kombu. So beautiful. You're just gonna soak it overnight, and if not, you're just gonna put it in a pot with 2 liters of water. We're gonna add the dry porcini mushrooms. So these are the dry porcini. You can see how they're super hard, but when they hydrate in the water, you're gonna see how they come to life again. And the flavor, I just love it so much. It's so good. So we're just gonna push them down. You can use your fingers, or you can use your or just use a spoon. And also we're gonna add some celery. So this celery basically just sliced, and we're gonna start cooking it for about 30 minutes. We're gonna bring it to simmer, and after it's brought to simmer, we're gonna let it cool down, or we're gonna use it hot as is. So let's go to the next thing. Alright, so let's get started with our mise en place. Remember, it's super important that we have our mise en place ready before we start working, because if not, it's gonna take us longer, right? So what I mean with mise en place, if you don't know this term, is the term that we use in the kitchen, very simple, to basically say, have everything ready to go. Everything cut, everything weighted, you know, like just everything around. And that actually saves us time, because sometimes it's easier to do it and then just dedicate yourself to cook and be aware of what you're doing, or do something else in the meantime where you don't need to be there. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do some carrots. Since we're gonna use it for the soup, we're gonna peel these carrots, and then we're gonna crush our garlic. Just chop it irregularly. It doesn't need to be perfect. And we also need some onion that we're gonna be cutting. Also, cuts of these soups are irregular. Something that I want to share with you about like making soups that are creamy, I have to say that. Creamy soups they don't require like that you cut every ingredient like small or everything like that, because you're gonna blend everything. So this is an easy way for you, or something that you need to keep in mind when you cook this kind of soups, because this is a very easy way to cook fast, right? If you just peel and then just cut them, I'm not saying just cut them without trying to make it look nice, but what I'm saying is you don't need a perfect cut, so you don't need to spend time thinking, oh, is this a cube, oh, is this a brunoise, or things like that. For the thickness of the carrots, what is going to determine how thick? What do you think? Should I cut it like this, or this thick, or this thick, or very thin? What's the difference? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the answer. The answer is the cooking time. The thing is just gonna take longer. So we want it not to take forever, so we're gonna cut it or slice it thin, relatively thin. It doesn't have to be so thin, but we're going to slice it so this takes like 15 minutes to cook. So if we slice it this kind of thin, you know, like I would say this is what, like 1/8 of an inch, it's gonna cook super fast. But also this is so important, when you have more surface and then we put the olive oil, the spices, and we kind of fry everything together, but you have more surface to get more color, to be brown, if that's what we want. And in this case, we're gonna brown our carrots a little bit, so that kind of like a smoky flavor, or that caramelization flavor we're gonna get from searing the carrots is gonna be more constant and more, we're gonna have more of those notes in our soup. And that's a great thing. People always love more, like a little bit more color, charness, unless you don't want that, right? Or unless you don't like those kind of flavors. But usually those flavors add a lot of flavor into our soups. So we're gonna slice this thinly. Alrighty, our carrots are ready, already sliced, ready to rock and roll. But now I just want to share something with you. I know you know how to cut the onion, so that's why I didn't show you how. But it's something important to know when you're making, or you're gonna make this soup specifically, is to understand that you want kind of like the same size or even a little bit bigger than the carrot. Why? You're gonna be like, oh, but that doesn't make any sense, or you know, like I just wanna put it in there, right? But what I wanna say is, if it's too small, it can be bigger. But if it's too small, what is gonna happen is it's gonna start burning, because we're going to start cooking the carrots with it, and we want some color in the carrots. So either you make it a little bit bigger, or add them mostly at the end when the carrots are already done. So there are two things, and I just wanted to share with you because I want you to understand the process. I don't only want you to follow our recipe. I want you to be like, oh my God, oh, he did this. Oh, I understand now why he's putting like the carrot first, why he's putting like a big chunk of onion, why the garlic he just crushed it, things like that, okay? So next thing is the garlic. We're gonna use 3 cloves of garlic, and we're just gonna, you know, smash it, because I'm just gonna crush it. What I mean with crush it is that, you know, like I remove the bottom, then I just chop it like not so finely, just basically cut it. Why? Because I don't want it to get burned. So I'm gonna do the same with the other one. Just be careful, watch out. You can use only your hand as well without using the knife if you feel more comfortable with it. After I smash it, just cut it like this. And that's gonna help us so it doesn't burn. So we don't really have to like dice it or mince it or anything like that. So this, perfect. So now that we have our base for our soup, now we have one more ingredient to go, the apple. All right, so our last ingredient to be chopped is gonna be the apple. So I have an apple gala apple here with me. This apple is gonna add also more sweetness and freshness into our soup. But something that I wanna point out here is that we're not peeling it. The reason we're not peeling it, and I wanna share it with you, maybe you did know or maybe you didn't, is because apples have lots of pectin, and pectin helps to thicken things. Pectin is one of the things that you can use for making gels. So what we're gonna do is just cut the apple, just gonna do like this, so we have a base, and then we're just gonna do the other sides. And in that way, we don't have to deal with the heart, because the heart is gonna be here. You can just eat the heart like this, and don't throw it out because there's still a little bit, or really if you want, like just try to get these pieces, you know, from the side, if you're not gonna really eat it. So So bam, that's it. And we don't waste, and the heart can go into the composting. Perfect. So now that we have this, we're gonna do large dice. So we're gonna do our planks. Watch out because there is not so much stability, or cut it like this, you know, facing down. So just 2 cuts in every half apple and then just 2 more. Bang, bang. And now we are ready to start cooking. Okay, so if you realize while we were making the mise en place, now this starts simmering. We're gonna count 20 minutes, and after that, then we're gonna turn it off and then let it sit. Let it sit all the flavors, and then we're gonna use it while we cook all the carrots and all the spices and everything. Then we're gonna use it for our delicious soup. And our broth is ready. Look at that color. Look at that. Oh. This is gold. That is pure gold right there. All right, so let's get started. So first we're gonna add some olive oil. Oh my God, look at that color, so good. Then we're gonna start with the vegetables that are the hardest, so take longest to cook. And the ones that we're gonna add color to it. In this case is all the carrots. And the ginger as well, because the ginger actually takes a little bit to get cooked and also get some color. So now we're just going to start mixing just a little bit. We want the oil to cover all the carrots and all the ginger, and then we're gonna leave it there, you know, for a few minutes, like for a few seconds, and then stir again. So we give it time to cook, to caramelize the carrots, and then stir, and then another side, and we keep going. So probably you can leave it there for like 20-30 seconds and then stir a little bit. Okay, so it's been 2 minutes and look all the steam that is coming out of the steel. Carrots have so much water. So now let's stir it. Let's see if there is some color in here. So as you can see, there is a little bit of caramelization, but in the pot. The carrots, some of them just got a little bit, but really, none of them has really caramelized the way that we want. Oh, look at that, one little guy. So this is what we're looking for. So this is gonna take a little bit longer, probably a few more minutes, but that's okay. You know, now it's already evaporating all the water, but in a few minutes it's gonna start caramelizing all of them. A way that you can know how it's getting closer, just listen to the sound. Before it was like, you know, it was like more sound in it because of the sizzling in the pan, the oil with the water in the carrots. And now the sizzling is lower. You can hear kind of like more like, it's like the melody, you know, it's like lower. It's like, I don't know if you know what I mean, but just listen. Remember, involve your senses. Cooking is not only about like moving and steering things around, cutting things. It's about like being here, present, you know? Experience this wonder that is in front of your eyes. All right, guys, we are in la recta final. This is the home stretch in English. We're gonna add now our golden liquid. Golden liquid in, and look at that. Look at that. We're gonna season. Oh, yes. A little bit salt. Be generous, don't be cheap, because if not, you're not gonna taste all these delicious flavors. Tampoco te pases and put so much. Don't put a lot of salt, just enough. And then now we're gonna cover this baby and let it cook for about 15 minutes. I think even 10 minutes is gonna be done completely, and we're gonna be ready to blend and taste this amazingness. All right, guys, while our soup is getting cooked and getting ready for us to blend it, now we're gonna do the topping. How we're gonna finish up this soup, it has everything to do with how we started. So the reason, the toppings that you put in it, they also add another touch into your soup. They add another layer of flavor. So always think, is there something simple? There's something that goes with this that is gonna add it? Not just add for adding. We're not just adding for adding. I'm not be like, oh, what else can I do in this video? You know, no. I'm like, what else? What is the flavor profile of the soup? Okay, it's gonna be a little bit soup. It's going to be a little bit sweet. It's not gonna have a lot of acidity, but it's going to have a lot of spice flavor. So what goes well with it? And in my mind, when I was thinking about the recipe, I was like, oh, something acid. Maybe a little bit of more lime juice. So what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna use some Moroccan olives. We're gonna use also some onions. So you can use red onions or white onions. So what we're gonna do is very simple. Remove the top, the bottom of the onion, and make sure everything is fine. Like for example, this piece at the middle is not okay. So I'm just gonna cut it, and then we're going to slice it. We're gonna make like very, very thin, as thin as you can, right? Because this is what you're gonna put in your mouth. You don't want a huge piece of onion, raw onion. So we're gonna slice these onions. So we're gonna start with a knife in like 45-degree angle. We're gonna start here. A lot of people start here and then you get this huge chunk. So we're gonna start here. The tip of the knife needs to be in the cutting board. And then from here, we're just gonna rub the knife thin, as thin as you can. And we're gonna use half of an onion. Because we don't need much. For this topping, you know, onion is very intense. Even though it's gonna have the lime juice, it is pretty intense in flavor. So I think with this, it's gonna be perfect. It's more than enough. So we're gonna grab our bowl. We're gonna put our onions in there. Boom. We're gonna add some salt. Look at this. Some salt to season. And also, because we're gonna massage it. We're gonna massage it a little bit with one hand. You can use both, you know. To make it faster. It's gonna take you like, I don't know, 15 seconds, I would say. Look, while I'm speaking, it's gonna be done. So at this point, you're gonna see how it's releasing water. You're gonna see how your hands are full of liquid. So now, it's fine. It doesn't have to release all of it. We don't want it like super soggy. This point is perfect. We grab our limes and we squeeze the juice. Yes. All of it. We want lots of it. Because when we pour a little bit of this on top of the soup, oh my goodness. You're gonna believe that, you know, all these gestures, all the words that I've been saying are true. So, let's do all of it. Boom. Then after this, we're gonna mix. We mix. You can taste the juice. I like to taste the juice because you want to know that it's savory enough, it's salty enough. Oh, I just love lots of lime juice and salt. Well, you know, Mexican. Why not? So good. Okay, this is perfect. We're gonna add extra virgin olive oil. Gonna add 2 tablespoons, more or less. 2 to 3. Okay. Mix it. Look. Oh, no, don't do that, don't do that. So good, so good. I have some dry cure olives here. These dry cure olives, what it means is that they dry them. The curing process is through salt. So they basically put them in a lot of salt, and what the salt does is like absorb most of the moist in the olives, and it makes them this like kind of like racing kind of shape. So if you realize these are dry, the flavor is very concentrated. It even tastes like fermented ingredient. We're gonna do bottom first, then the top, and then the sides. So basically you have 4 sides. Or if the pita start coming by itself, we have it right here. Okay. Okay, my timer is done. And I believe this soup is done as well. I'm gonna turn it off. Let it be like that, we're gonna check it. And we're gonna cut this. We're just gonna chop these olives. So put them all together, wash those fingers, those beautiful fingers, and let's just chop it. So we chop one side, then we move them, we chop the other one. Okay? Until we have very small pieces of this cured olives. They're so good. If you have never tasted them before, you have to buy a jar of them and taste them. This goes well with lots of things. You know, with dips, you can go with soups. But look at that. Ooh, mix. Look at this. To finish it, have some parsley over here. We're just gonna pick the lips. It's easy, just use your two fingers. With one you hold, and with the other one you just pick the lips. Because the lips are the ones that are, you know, that fall apart very easily. Got the lips, less than 30 seconds. And then now we can put one on top of each other, or we can just like chop it. But I'm just gonna make it look a little bit cuter, right? Because this soup deserves it, and you deserve it. And now I just slice. Slice, slice, all the way to the end. Boom, we're almost there. All right, and we have this kind of like confetti style. Now, we put this into our bowl, and that's the last step. Mix it in, and look at this, so good. All right, guys, let's check these carrots. Okay, we're gonna use the knife to check the carrots, and look, just insert the knife, and you're gonna see. This is perfect. This is ready to rock and roll, ready to blend. And this is the easiest part. Look at this, look at the color of this milk. It's gonna be so good. All right, guys, so we're gonna start blending. And before blending, I know you're like, I mean, blending is very easy, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it is very easy. But I just wanna share something with you that is important. So first you want to use something to get all the ingredients. Don't pour all the liquid with the ingredients in it. The reason is because if you put all the liquid, but it was so much liquid because, I don't know, maybe you didn't realize and you put like 3 cups instead of 2, or you thought it was gonna need more broth and then you added more broth. And then at the end you're gonna have a soup. You're gonna have like a super liquidy soup. You're not gonna have a super creamy soup. So first of all, get all the ingredients, or most of them, right? And then after that, then we can pour in some of the liquid. And then you're gonna realize like, oh, okay, maybe this is good. For this recipe, I did it before, so now I know, it's gonna be good. It's gonna probably be too creamy, and it might need even a little bit more broth. So now that everything is in here, we're gonna blend it. Remember, things that are hot, if you're blending it after just finished cooking, just be careful. So if you have a blender, this blender has holes. It's already designed for it to blend hot stuff. So if you don't have one of these, if you have a regular blender, just please remove this. Remove the top, and then normally leave it like that. Use a towel, put it on top. If something jumps, just don't go into your face. And also, you can even remove yourself. So we're gonna just press the button, start, and we're gonna start little by little. So number 1 speed, then 2, then 3, until we get to the max. We're gonna blend for like 30 seconds to 1 minute max. Alright guys, so it's been 1 minute, and now look, I told you, too creamy. And the way I know, even before I take it out of this, the reason I know is because I can see the circle that it's in the middle. So a way that you're gonna know very easily, you don't have to keep adding whether or not, is while it's blending, this hole, if the hole that is making the soup while it's blending is the size of the hole that is here, is kind of like this size, you're good. It's gonna be a creamy soup. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be smooth, it's gonna be nice texture. If you do more, it's gonna be more liquidy. But if it's like a hole like this size, you need more. So I'm gonna add more of the broth, and then I'm just gonna finish liquiding, and then we can blend. perfect consistency. Let's see. Let's see. Look at this. Oh, nice, no? This is what we're looking for. Now, let's start playing. You caught me. This soup is amazing. So good. Today, not only did you learn how to make this amazing soup, but also how to make the base for the soup. And the base for the soup, you can use it for everything. Everything. All your brown rice, how to cook your brown rice using grains, cooking legumes, cooking almost anything. I mean, I would say even everything. This can even be the base for your ramen. Just add some tahini or blend some cauliflower or sweet potato or whatever is your favorite thing. So if you're watching this, you have a goal right here. This is so good. So, but let's talk about the soup. This soup, it is creamy. I'm tasting it right now and I'm in love because I love spices. So if you love spices, if you love fall vibes and all that, you're going to completely love this soup. Because honestly, I can feel the spices and I can feel the heat from the ginger. So if you think, the ginger might be too much for you or that kind of like flavor is too much of the spiciness of the ginger, so maybe put a little bit less or even remove the chili flakes. The recipe is there as a guide, but you can always modify it. I love the creaminess, I love the texture, but also the surprise when I eat it and I find an onion and it's a little bit acidic and I'm like, oh, and it's fresh, but I can feel the freshness of the lime. Everything kind of like plays very well together. I can feel it's fatty, it's creamy, it's fresh, and with the bread, oh my goodness, this bread was also amazing. I did sourdough. If you want me to show you how to make bread, put in the comments, because that's a long project, but I am willing to do it for you so you can learn how to make it and also you can get to experience this. Anyway, guys, it was so good. It was a pleasure to share this with you. I love cooking along with you and I love to see you grow in your journey of cooking, mastering vegan cooking. If you like this recipe, please don't forget to give me the thumbs up and subscribe, because if you haven't subscribed, you're gonna miss out on the next recipes and it's gonna be good. Vegan Cooking Master is the name because we are gonna actually learn how to master vegan cooking. Because I'm not only teaching you like everybody else. I'm not saying like, okay, sweat the onion, sweat the garlic, add the water, blend it, boom, you have your soup. That's not what I'm doing right here. What I'm doing here is teaching you basically the step-by-step to understand what happens when you do what. So you actually can create flavors, layers of flavors. For me, it's easier to tell you, oh, you saute everything in the pot, olive oil, add the spices, 1 minute, add the broth, blend it, boom, you have the soup. That's also soup. That can also be a full soup, but it's not gonna be the same. The flavor is not gonna be the same. And I want you to create flavorful things, because the reason number one why people don't eat vegan food is because they think it's boring. They think it's not tasty. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be boring and it's not gonna be tasty if you don't know how to cook it. Of course it's gonna be like that, I even go to some restaurants and I'm like, wait, that's why people don't like our food. But now you're learning this, it makes me very happy. I am so happy that you're here and you choose to spend your time with me. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I do appreciate it. So leave your comments, leave your likes, what you like about this video, what else would you like to see, and also feedback. I love feedback. Was it too fast? Did I show you, did you so understood the process? Everything, because everything helps me for you for the next video improve and you actually enjoy it better. I'm trying to get better at like shots and all of that, I'm doing it by myself, so I'm kind of learning, right? So for you to have a better experience and you actually enjoy like seeing the food. But last thing, make it, because if you don't make it, your time watching this was just wasted. So actually make it for you to taste it and enjoy it and see, what I mean when I'm smiling and I'm like so excited for this because it is true. I'm not just acting. I'm not an actor, even though I'm a good actor. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, just do it because it's gonna make you very happy and your family very happy and your friends and everyone around you. Because if you're happy, they're happy. So keep it up, stay healthy, stay, with good vibes, good energy, and let's keep rolling, let's keep going. And I'll see you next week with another video here at Vegan Cooking Mastery with Chef Lado, yours truly.